right, guys. In this ACT math video, we're going to dip our toes into percent, an intro into percent. So, first question is, what is percent? Well, percent, the word percent just means per 100. Cent just means 100, and per just means per. And that just means out of 100. So, 25% really just means 25 out of 100, which you can turn into a fraction and do 25 over 100, which when you calculate it using your calculator, you get 0.25. Conversions, there's many ways of converting. You can go percent to decimal, like our example above here, and you just need to take your percent and divide it by 100. So if we had 40%, just take that 40, divide it by 100, or take it out of 100, and you'll get 0.40. If you have a decimal and you want to turn it into percent, it's kind of the other way around. Instead of dividing, you multiply by 100. So 0.07, if we want to turn that into percent, we just need to multiply that by 100, and we get 7%. If we have a fraction and we want to turn into a percent, convert it into a decimal, then multiply by 100. So right here, 3/4, we turn that into a decimal. That is 0.75. You just take 3 divided by 4. And make it a percent, you just multiply it by 100 like you did up here, and you'll get 75%. Another way to think about it, and the one that I kind of like the best, because it kind of helps with word problems and kind of organizing stuff, is taking percent as a proportion. So let's take this idea where we take a part of something and we put it over the whole. It can be equal to the percent over 100. And we'll get more into that. When you're given a word problem, a great way to kind of structure this right here is looking at the numbers after is, after of, and the ones that have a percent. And I'll dive more into that, but this is going to be a great way to figure out, okay, what is my part? It's going to be the number usually after is, or what you're looking for. The whole is going to be whatever number that's usually after of, and percent will just have the percent with it. That's pretty obvious. So let's take a look at these two examples. Let's take a look at the left one. 330% is what percent of 500? There's a lot of words in there. We have two numbers. How do we organize it? Well, keep this in mind right here. We're going to do part over whole equals percent over 100. This is our proportion. 300. 300 in our case is kind of right next to is. So that's going to go on the top. So wherever you kind of find is, that number that's kind of closer to it is going to be the part. So the part is going to now be 300. My whole, again, usually after of, as you can see right here, this is my whole, is going to be 500. So my part over whole is 330 over 500. I'm looking for the percent. That's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find the percent. So I'm going to take the percent and make it my x. My mystery is what I'm looking for. And again, that's over 100. So now I have my proportion. I have two fractions equal to each other. What I'm going to do is do that butterfly effect, where I cross multiply because I have a proportion. Little butterfly. Boop, boop. So what I did is I multiplied the 330 times 100. That goes right here. Then I took the 500 times it by x, and I got 500x. And again, my goal is to figure out what x is. That's my mystery. I'm trying to find the percent. So at this stage, I just multiplied the 330 times 100. Got this large number. Would like that in my bank account. I just brought down the 500x because I haven't done anything with it. To get from this part to this part, I'm just going to divide by 500. I'm going to do the opposite of what I have with that x. I'm multiplying by 500, so I'm going to divide by 500. When I do that, I just get my percent. I get 66%. So back to the question. 330 is what percent of 500? 66%. Looking at the other way, again, because we have kind of like three things that we can kind of look for, part, whole, and percent. In this case, we got to figure out what we were given and what we're going to look for. What is 12% of 325? So let's break it down. Again, looking at this top part. What are we looking for? Well, what is? The is part isn't a number. You know how like 330 was before is? We have nothing before is other than what? And that's a mystery. So our part is going to be x. We have a percent, 12%. So we're going to take our percent. We're going to put that as 12. And right after of is our whole, which is 325. So our whole is going to be 325. So again, this is a really good kind of structure when it comes to word problems with percent. So I'm looking for my part. So I have it in x. My whole is 325 and my percent is 12. Again, going back to this, I just need to do my butterfly method. Cross multiply. Butterfly. I'm going to take the x and times 100, get 100x. I'm going to take 325, multiply by 12, get that right here. Just kind of organizing myself. I'm going to keep the 100x by itself, or not by itself, but I'm just going to bring it down because I'm not going to do anything with it. But 325 times 12 becomes 3,900. And again, I want to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 100. Divide by 100. Essentially, zeros cross out. And I'm left with 39. So again, what is 12% of 325? Well, it's 39. And if you wanted to, you could do 39 divided by 325, times that by 100, and you should get 12%. So this is kind of a nice introduction to percent proportions. It's really great dissecting word problems. I love it. It can be really helpful, especially when you get to more complex problems like this one right here. These are proportional reasoning with percents. They're word problems. In this example, we have 12,000 students attend Atlas High School. 5% of the students bring their lunch to school every day. How many students brought their lunch to school on Thursday? So we know that 5% of the students bring their lunch, and we know that the total number of students is not 120. It's 1,200. So we got to kind of break this apart. What is our part? What is our whole? What's our percent? And which one are we looking for? The whole in our case is going to be that first number, 1,200. We know that the whole student population is 1,200. So we're going to put it right here. We're trying to figure out the part that would give us 5%. And so percent is really easy. You just replace what they give you. So now that I have constructed my proportion, we're going to do that butterfly effect. Cross multiply. Sorry. I really like drawing terribly drawn butterflies. So x times 100 is just 100x. 5 times 1,200. That's the arrangement right here. It becomes 6,000. And I do my whole process again. Divide by 100. Divide by 100. And I get 60. So how many students, if 5% of the student body brings their lunch every day out of 1,200, well, that would give us 60 students. So the proportion works out. Let's take a look at one more problem, then you guys are going to go into practice. Evelyn has a coin collection. She keeps three of her coins in her box, which is 4% of the collection. So she has more than 3. It's just 4%, a small portion of it. How many total coins are in her collection? So total, usually a good word to indicate whole. So we're looking for whole. We know that the part of the whole that she keeps outside the box is 3. So we're going to turn that into 3. The x is the mystery, what we have to solve. And percent, we're given 4%. So it's the same process once you get it started. You're going to get used to this. But we got to do the butterfly. Let me see if I can make a really nice one. No, drawing skills, still bad. Cross multiply, you get this. 100 times 3 gives you 300. You're going to divide by 4 to both sides so we can isolate our x, and we get 75. So what is the total number of her coin collection? 75 coins. That's a pretty decent amount of coins for her collection. Guys, these are some examples. You can take a look at Delta Math when you get into practice. My recommendation, as always, your brain is powerful, but it cannot hold a bunch of numbers at once. So write it out. Work on writing this process out on a scratch paper, or if you have markers, do it on the desk. Whatever, just offload all that information onto a sheet. It builds muscle memory and allows your brain to think about the process and not about the memorizing the numbers. So work on the Delta Math assignment percent intro ACT review. If you guys have any questions, come and see me and I'll be able to help you. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful day.